Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host JT, and if this is your first time tuning in, thank you and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Today I am thrilled because our guest is the author of Experiences Equal Everything, the president and CEO of SpringHill Camps. His mission is to inspire others to become what God wants them to be. So please welcome Michael Perry. And thank you, Michael, for coming on the show.
Well, JT, it's great to be here. I'm honored to be asked. And if we can talk about the Lord and what he's doing, that's even a better thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And first, I want to start off with, I've read your book here, and I absolutely love your book, and Experiences Equal Everything. And I was just wondering, what was the inspiration for writing this book?
Well, I think the couple things. One was simply just wanting to communicate what has made SpringHill SpringHill, what has been unique about SpringHill, how has God used SpringHill, and really to do it through stories. And so wanted to collect those, to write them, and once you publish a book, as you know, JT, as you've done, that becomes kind of a permanent part of history, right? And so capturing stories, my own personal experiences and some of the history of SpringHill and really just how we do what we do is really an important part of why I did this book, and trying to get the word out, let people know. If you, like you've experienced SpringHill, you kind of get it, understand it, but people never experience SpringHill, don't know. They just think, oh, it's just a camp. Well, we're more than just a camp. It's different. So
yes, it's a full experience, and the book really encapsulates that and shares so many amazing stories. And maybe we can jump into some of those stories here soon.
Yes.
But what is the mission and vision of SpringHill Camp?
So our mission is we want to obviously first glorify God, but we do that by creating life-impacting, life-changing experiences where young people can do two things. One, they can come to know Christ, maybe for the first time, but also to grow in their faith in him. So the key components of that mission is these experiences, which the book talks about. We have a way we do these experiences, the way we create these experiences. And then the second part is the outcome of those experiences, how God uses those experiences in young people's lives, whether it's children, kids, students, college-age people. We want to create moments and experiences that change their life. And obviously we do that often, and most often at camp being a great context for creating those experiences.
As my experience at SpringHill, I mean, every aspect of it, really revolves around the Lord, and how, every activity from the rock wall to the zip line revolves around the Lord, and the message between every one of those adventures and stuff too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the components of the SpringHill Experience, or the SpringHill Way, we often call it. But SpringHill Experience is we integrate faith and fun. So everything that we do revolves around how we can connect that activity or that moment to the Lord. And so what it does is it kind of takes our faith out of Sunday morning church or youth group, and it brings it to everyday kinds of activities. And kids learn that God is a part of everything and should be a part of everything. It's not just something that happens on Sunday morning. So we call it the integration of faith and fun. So everything we do at SpringHill has a purpose. All those activities you mentioned, they're there because they are fun, but they're there because they teach a lesson about spiritual truth, and it reminds kids that God is in every moment.
What is one of your favorite stories on camp that was either a counselor or was a student, or a camper who, came to find the Lord at camp or during their experience at SpringHill?
Yeah, well, there are lots of them, but I think going as we talked about the integration of faith and fun, that reminded me of a story where I think for the first time that reality was really driven home for me. We were talking to a group of parents and kids that were middle schoolers who had been to SpringHill, just talking about their SpringHill experience, trying to understand what they liked and what they didn't. And this young middle school girl said that she goes, you know, everything is connected to God, like you said. And she goes, I realized what it meant to put my faith in Christ when that day I went on the zip line and knew I had to take a step off and realize that, that taking a step of faith is on the zip lines like it's taking a step of faith with Christ, and that Christ is that cable. It's going to hold me up and it's going to take me right to God. And so hearing her articulate this months after her experience and how impactful that was, just really helped me to say, look, this is part of the experience that we did. This is really a key part. Even last summer, I got a text message from a grandmother who they take care, make sure their grandkids go to camp, and they were up at a cottage, and she said to her granddaughter, you need to put your life jacket on, and her granddaughter goes, yeah, life jacket's like Jesus, holds you up in the rough water and keeps you alive and floating. And she goes, where'd you learn that? She goes, SpringHill.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I have to say, my time at SpringHill was always just an amazing experience. But one time in particular, I was at Storybrooke, and to back up a little bit, faith has been throughout my whole entire life, and has been, I've been fortunate enough to have parents and grandparents that have, really, given me that experience. But I think one of the most cool moments at SpringHill for me was the time that I was at Storybrooke, and that is when I accepted Christ into my life, was actually at Storybrooke. And so
that's powerful. No, that's great. And that's what happens when camps like the SpringHill and other camps, you get pulled out of your normal routine, you're in God's creation, you're with a bunch of people and the whole experience is focused on God. And God uses that and opens our hearts up and our minds up to Him in new and different ways.
What has been your faith journey, and how has the Lord impacted you in your life?
Yeah, wow. I always, think of the C.S. Lewis quote, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but, my faith in Christ is like looking out the window. You don't see the window, you just see the outside. The window allows you to see the world, and that's really what Christ is. I can't see God, but it's by Him that I can see the world and see the world differently. And He has transformed the way I think, the way I look at the world, hopefully the way I interact with the world, and interact with people, and what I've done with my life. I grew up in a home that church was, and faith was kind of nominal, was kind of on the sideline. And but I got involved with a ministry called Young Life when I was in high school, and went to a Young Life camp. So I became a Christian like you did, JT, as a high schooler at a Young Life camp. And so that's probably why I love Young Camp ministry, is because I'm a product of camp ministry, a chance to encounter Christ in a new and different way. And ever since that moment, I really wanted my life to be about how can I share that good news with others? How can I live that out? How can I make a difference in the world, positive, that would reflect well on Christ and the church? And so, it really has been the cornerstone, not only decision, but how it's steered my life.
That's awesome. And you've not just you being involved in the camp, but your whole family has been involved in the camp, from counselors and all other aspects of it.
Yeah, it's true. our kids grew up at camp. They did everything from cleaning toilets and doing all that. Our son Mitch, he did that for 2 years. He liked doing that. He was cleaning all the bathrooms and doing all the housekeeping stuff. And then our son Jonathan was on summer staff for 4 summers, and he worked at day camps. He worked overnight camp. And our oldest, he cut the grass. He was like the grass cutter, and then also organized the TST crews to do weed whacking and all that. So yeah, they've all been involved. Our daughter actually just published we're doing some YouTube videos for kids at home during COVID. And so our daughter, who's a dancer, actually did a YouTube video for SpringHill, taught kids a new little dance to do. So yeah, they've all been involved. My wife is Denise is the women's retreat director. So she's been involved for all these years, 20-something years, leading women's retreats. So it is a kind of a family affair for sure.
How are some ways that individuals can get in touch and involved in SpringHill Camp?
Yeah, so the easiest, quickest way would be to go to SpringHillExperiences.com, and you click and go to our website, and there's a spot where if you want to donate, you can donate. If you want to volunteer, there's a link to volunteer. You can do that. If you want to work for us, as a summer staff counselor, even full-time, we often have jobs. So any of those ways to be involved with our website would be a great way. For SpringHill, we get about 80% of our revenue from camper fees. So camper fees pay for all our staff salaries and facility upkeep and maintenance and all that program, but we depend on supporters and generous, supportive people to raise money for scholarships for kids who can't afford to come to camp, and also big major projects. So we want to improve property and facilities. As JT, your family's been involved with helping us do that, we really need supporters to do that. So if you would be interested in that, go to our website, click, and tell you all the things we've got going, and we'd love to have your involvement.
And then how do people get your book? Where can they find your book?
Yeah, they can find it on Amazon. You go to Amazon, you can order it off there. You can actually order it. If you go to our website, you can send an email to information at SpringHill. We have copies we can send you as well. All the proceeds to the book go to camper scholarships. So SpringHill's not making any money on it. I'm not making any money. It's all to help kids come to camp.
And this book is awesome if you want to hear more stories on SpringHill and campers and just how the Lord has impacted so many individuals' lives through the camp. And thank you so much, Mr. Perry, for coming on.
Thank you, G. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment below. And I hope stories like Michael Perry's inspires you to share your story, because your story matters.